Guadalajara Bus Explosion. On April 22, 1992, in Guadalajara, Mexico, one of the most devastating urban explosions in history unfolded. A series of gasoline leaks from a corroded pipeline under the Analco district caused fumes to seep into the city's sewer system. Hours later, a chain of underground explosions ripped through nearly 8 kilometers of streets. Buses, cars, and pedestrians were caught in the blasts as entire blocks were lifted into the air. Official reports confirmed over 200 deaths and thousands of injuries, with more than 1,000 homes destroyed. The incident, though technically a fuel line disaster, remains one of the deadliest vehicle-related catastrophes, as most of the fatalities occurred inside public transport vehicles traveling through the affected zone. Investigators later determined that the leak originated from a broken pipeline owned by the state oil company Pemex, sparking national outrage. The disaster forced the government to review Mexico's urban fuel distribution systems and implement stricter industrial safety standards. Tenerife Airport Disaster. On March 27, 1977, the world witnessed the deadliest accident in aviation history at Los Rodeos Airport on the Spanish island of Tenerife. Due to a terrorist bombing at Gran Canaria Airport, numerous flights were diverted to the smaller Tenerife Airport, causing severe congestion. Amid heavy fog and miscommunication between air traffic control and flight crews, a KLM Boeing 747 began its takeoff roll while a Pan Am Boeing 747 was still taxiing on the same runway. The two jumbo jets collided at high speed. The impact and ensuing fire killed 583 people, leaving only 61 survivors. Investigations cited radio miscommunication, human error, and poor visibility as key factors. The tragedy revealed critical flaws in cockpit communication protocols, leading to the introduction of standardized English phrases in aviation and the mandatory use of crew resource management training for all commercial pilots. Ayyat train disaster. On February 20, 2002, Egypt suffered its worst railway catastrophe near the town of Ayyat, south of Cairo. A passenger train bound for Luxor caught fire after a gas cylinder exploded in one of the rear carriages. As the flames spread through the overcrowded cars, passengers were trapped with no means of escape. Many jumped from the moving train to survive. Official figures listed at least 373 deaths, though some estimates suggest the number exceeded 500. The event exposed severe deficiencies in safety standards and overcrowding in Egypt's railway system, prompting nationwide outrage and calls for reform. In the aftermath, Egyptian authorities announced upgrades to the rail network, but similar incidents continued to occur in later years, highlighting systemic infrastructure neglect. Caracas Metrobus Crash. On April 17, 2016, a Metrobus carrying university students and workers lost control on the Caracas-La Guaira highway in Venezuela. The vehicle struck a guardrail, flipped, and slid down a steep embankment. 36 people were killed and dozens more injured. Preliminary investigations pointed to brake failure as the primary cause, compounded by poor vehicle maintenance and deteriorating road infrastructure. Witnesses described chaotic scenes as survivors attempted to rescue those trapped inside the overturned bus. The tragedy underscored the growing safety crisis in Venezuela's public transport system, where economic hardship had left many vehicles in dangerous disrepair. Local authorities later reported that the bus had missed multiple scheduled inspections, illustrating the extent of institutional breakdown within the transportation sector. Philippine ferry collision. On December 20, 1987, the ferry MV Doña Paz collided with the oil tanker MT Vector in the Tablas Strait, Philippines. The impact ignited the tanker's cargo of gasoline, resulting in an inferno that consumed both vessels. The Doña Paz was severely overcrowded, carrying over 4,000 passengers despite a capacity of just over 1,400. Nearly everyone on board perished. Only 24 people survived. Official death tolls reached 4,386, making it the deadliest peacetime maritime disaster in history. The collision raised major questions about maritime safety enforcement and passenger accountability in Southeast Asia. Investigations revealed that neither vessel had a functioning radio, and the Vector was operating without a qualified crew. The disaster prompted sweeping reforms in the Philippine maritime industry, though overcrowding and lax regulation continue to challenge the sector decades later. North Korea bus accident. On April 22, 2018, a tour bus carrying Chinese visitors plunged off a bridge in North Hwanghae Province, North Korea. The bus fell more than 20 meters into a river below, killing 36 people, including 32 Chinese tourists and 4 North Korean staff members. Chinese state media described it as one of the worst transportation accidents involving Chinese nationals abroad in recent years. The North Korean government, known for its secrecy, released limited details, but footage later confirmed heavy rain and poor road conditions as likely contributing factors. The event highlighted the country's aging infrastructure and minimal road safety measures. Despite political sensitivities, both China and North Korea cooperated in the repatriation of victims and the subsequent investigation. Sierre Tunnel Bus Crash. On March 13, 2012, a Belgian school trip ended in tragedy inside the Sierre Tunnel in Switzerland. A bus carrying 52 passengers, including children returning from a ski trip, collided with a concrete wall inside the tunnel. 28 people died, 22 of them children. The crash shocked Europe and led to an extensive investigation into its cause. Swiss authorities found no evidence of mechanical failure or excessive speed. It was concluded that the driver may have momentarily lost control or been distracted. The bus was equipped with modern safety systems, but the force of impact proved catastrophic. The incident led to renewed discussions across Europe about tunnel design, emergency exits, and long-distance school travel safety regulations. Zagreb Bus Crash. On August 6, 2022, a Polish tourist bus traveling through Croatia veered off the A4 motorway near Zagreb and struck a ditch. The vehicle was en route to Medjugorje, a pilgrimage site in Bosnia and Herzegovina. 12 people died, and more than 30 were injured. Investigations pointed to driver fatigue as a possible cause, as the journey exceeded the maximum continuous driving hours allowed under EU transport law. The crash drew attention to the risks of long-distance religious travel and the importance of enforcing driver rest regulations. The Croatian government offered immediate aid, and Polish officials coordinated the repatriation of the injured. The tragedy served as a stark reminder of how fatigue and human error continue to cause deadly road accidents despite modern safety advancements.